December 7th, 1941. Naval Base. Hawaii Private First Class Jamie Reynolds had just turned 20. Hailing from a small town in Iowa, he had never seen an ocean before his deployment to the Hawaii Naval Base. On that warm Sunday morning, he sat near the dock, scribbling a letter to his kid sister, Ellie. "The water looks like glass, Ellie. Like you could walk across it. You'd like the flowers here. Big red ones that smell like apples in summer." The only sounds were the waves tapping the hulls of the anchored ships and the occasional cry of a seabird. Jamie could smell bacon drifting from the mess hall. Sailors played cards in the barracks, and officers strolled lazily with coffee mugs in hand. It was paradise in uniform. At 7:55 a.m., the first unnatural sound cracked across the sky. It was distant at first, a deep, rumbling buzz that grew until the very air seemed to vibrate. Jamie looked up and saw dark silhouettes moving fast above the clouds, more than a dozen aircraft. Not American. Then came the first explosion. Pearl Harbor was burning. But chaos doesn't like to be confined. The radio burst alive with static, followed by shouting, "This is not a drill. All personnel to stations. Japanese aircraft have engaged." Then static again. Before the message even ended, men were sprinting. Boots pounded the ground. Sirens howled. Jamie tossed his letter, grabbed his M1 Garand, and bolted toward the command center. The ocean didn't look like glass anymore. It looked like fire. Out of the east, 3-0 fighters peeled away from a group. Their target, the modest airstrip on Hawaii. Anti-aircraft guns spat bullets skyward, but they were too slow. The first bombs hit the hangar, erupting into flame. A second landed near the officers' quarters. Jamie ducked as the earth lifted under him and roared like a demon. Wood and bone shattered. Smoke blanketed the base. He watched in horror as a mechanic. He'd played poker with the night before, staggered out of the fire, skin peeling, eyes wide, then fell face first into the dirt. The Japanese pilots swooped low, strafing anything that moved. Trucks burst into flame. Sailors threw themselves into the sea. Jamie took cover behind a toppled fuel barrel, heart hammering like a drum line. He fired at a passing plane, missed. Screams filled the air, some human, some metal. Another explosion rocked the barracks. Debris rained like hell's confetti. Jamie turned and saw the body of Lieutenant Collins. Once 6'4" and proud, now a twisted mass pinned beneath a steel beam. For 2 minutes, everything stopped. No bombs, no bullets. Just smoke, wind, and death. Jamie crawled toward the dock. The water was no longer blue, but black with oil and ash. Floating in it, a boot, a helmet, a hand. Then he heard it. The whine of another incoming wave, sky filled with fighters again. At this time, the base was semi-ready. Guns manned. Jamie and a handful of others returned fire. They managed to clip one plane. It spiraled and crashed near the fuel depot, igniting a fireball that lit the sky orange. Still, the onslaught was relentless. An older sailor, Ramirez, screamed from the rooftop. "They just keep coming," and they did. Massive explosion took out the communications tower. Jamie saw it from the shore. It rose like a mushroom, its shockwave flattening men and shattering windows. It was thrown backward, ears ringing, face bloodied by shrapnel. The last thing he remembered clearly was the deafening silence that followed. No more planes, no more guns, just smoke, cries, and the stench of scorched earth. As the smoke cleared, the sun dared to shine again. Birds circled the ruins. Jamie limped through the wreckage, stepping over bodies and twisted metal. He found Ramirez alive, but burned. He carried him to the surviving medics. Everywhere he looked, loss. The base's flag, scorched, torn, still clung to its pole. Jamie sat back down where he started that morning, though nothing was the same. His letter to Ellie lay in the dirt, smudged but intact. He picked it up with shaking hands, found a pencil, and added one more line. "The water doesn't look like glass anymore, Ellie. Today it looked like war, and the sky still tinged with smoke." He watched silently.